Hey, members and patrons, just wanted to record a little behind the scenes vlog before the end of January, like I do at the end of every month. I thoroughly enjoy doing stuff like this because it is a throwback to a very early time in the history of my channel when I was still Animator Kid. My channel was still called Animator Kid. Some of you may remember those days. I've only been called Orange River since early 2021, but I would do behind the scenes vlogs that were public, right, for my whole audience, where I would showcase what projects I was working on, and that did include some Star Trek videos and other video essays, but also some of the other stuff I used to do, like more skits and animations and gaming and whatnot. But here we are. So I just wanted to cover what has happened in January, both in front of and behind the camera. Um, Talk about a little bit of what's to come in February and beyond. And my whole life, I have never really settled on a pronunciation of February. It's spelled February. We should be able to say it like this, but anyway, whatever. But anyway, so first video of the year that I released, of course, was Lower Decks Season 5. The reception to that is it's it's interesting. This is like the third video recently that I've posted where I'm kind of like giving a mostly negative take on a Star Trek production, right? And it The reception to it was interesting, but it was not as catastrophic as it was for certain other videos in terms of, people leaving because they disagreed with my takes or whatever. But that video was, it performed about as well as I figured a Lower Decks video would. My first one has nearly 60,000 views, which I'm really proud of and really happy about, and I do think that that was my best video of 2024. But this one, it's a little more reaction based, not in terms of the content itself, but in terms of like the timing of it, as opposed to like a look back, a fond look back, right, at the history of the first four seasons. But nevertheless, it did come out. Also, I released the fifth anniversary remastered edition of my documentary about cybernetics, Teched Out, which a lot of you seem to enjoy. It's not, you know, getting up there in terms of views, but I figured that that would also happen, especially given it's a non-Trek topic. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, though. That Teched Out is, like I said, is the name of it, and I just have such fond memories of it. It was one of the first projects that Phobia and Kinsey and I all collaborated on together back in 2019 when we were in college, and it was just such a fun experience, and getting to revisit those interviews and give new commentary now that we're half a decade removed from when the original was made. That really meant something to me, and I know that not everybody and most people in my audience are probably not going to understand what that meant to me, and how um central to my identity as a filmmaker, right, that Teched Out has been, because the first one kind of flew under the radar of my audience as well. I posted it on YouTube because, of course, why not, right? And I figured that this one would be interesting to gauge what the reception would be, and it got some discussion going on in the comments about cybernetics and transhumanism and whatnot. Um, which I now have a much more like firm, almost like um, religious fervor against transhumanism in these days, because it's mostly promoted by a lot of wackos. Let's put it that way. Um, and so that was interesting to see the reception to that. Also, I put out issue 2 of my comic, Star Trek Endurance, my fan comic illustrated by my good friend CJ from high school, and my patron Sean Guku. Um, it is 2 of 3, right? So the next one I would like to put out in the spring, and it is probably going to be the last one because there's some other projects I want to move on to. But 1, 2, 3, it's a trilogy, right? The story is a little compressed from what I wanted to do originally, but because of time and budgetary reasons, I am focusing on telling it in the way that I'm telling it now, right? Which I still like. People are still enjoying it, so I'm really happy about that. Obviously, the art looks fantastic. Um, I just hope that my dialogue and my writing is like also like good. People think it's good, and most people have been receptive to it. We had a little fun with the announcement video for it, so I did a trailer back in, I guess, December, right? Um, but we did a second announcement video for the day that the issue came out, and it was a little animated short, not really animated because I'm not that talented, just using like some renderings that had been made for the comic, right? A little animatic, if you will, starring Kinsey as Dr. Asakaza, the reptilian doctor who was taken from us too early, and I didn't realize how much of a fan favorite character he would become. But also Erica Valdez, the new chief medical officer, voiced by my friend Rachel. And I released behind the scenes of that recording session, at least one half of it. And yeah, people like that. People thought it was funny, which I'm happy. That was obviously the intent. Um, we want to get the readership up, but I am seeing that there are more people joining Patreon and memberships to read the comic, which I'm so appreciative of, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy it as well. Um, but yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of January. The other night, Kenzie and I did a stream on Orange River Plus. We played We Play and Mario Kart Wii, and then we ended. He did like the first half of Dark Souls remastered, that was a fun diversion as well. Um, but we just wanted to stream just for fun, right? And so we had a good turnout the other night, especially for a second channel stream. But I appreciate that. I had got a new patron out of it. Um, so I hope you stick around. But yeah, that was fun. But that does bring me to what is going to be happening in the future, right? So I've been hard at work on the Discovery retrospective mainly this month in terms of the behind the scenes stuff, right? And now where I'm kicked into high gear to fast track Section 31. Section 31 is uh the obviously the film that just came out, the Star Trek film that just came out, and yeah, that was something. That was something. I'll say that. I'm glad that there's like a near unanimous negative consensus about it because it means I'm not gonna be having a fucking contrarian take again about something people like because that kind of got old for on both sides. But there's a lot to talk about with Section 31, so I'm writing the script actually right now as we speak over there on my laptop. Um, Taking a break to do this. I'm probably going to release this video a few days after I record it, just because I want to space out the patron and members bonus material stuff, right? So it's not all stacked on top of each other. But the next video I'm going to put out in February is going to be a little my little take on the whole is Discovery still canon discussion, right? Um, because of the implications of the Lower Decks finale. I've spoken about it several times, but I still thought it was necessary to make a video about. Um, on Valentine's Day, we have the Valentine's Day doc, the dating video that's going to be coming out, and I'm super excited about that. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. I'm wondering how much some of you are going to get out of it because it is kind of like uh, more heavily focused on like the experiences of my generation, Gen Z. But I hope that you can still like at least sympathize, if not empathize, with what's going on. Um, and but I had fun making that. Um, and then, beyond that, I've got another Trek video essay I'm going to put out before we get to Discovery, I think. But Discovery is going to be the next. It's going to be a mega video, right? Big long video, the likes of which has not been witnessed on my channel outside of Supercuts. So that's the plan anyway. I've gone back and forth on whether or not I'm going to split it up. The plan right now is going to be to do it just all of Discovery in one video. So I hope that you are looking forward to that. I'm going to have a very balanced take. I actually think that I have a very like nuanced take on the show as a whole. Um, that I take um, about 2.5 hours to go through. Anyway, but yeah, that is what's coming up in the short to medium term in terms of videos, and then beyond that, I won't spoil. I want to, I want to get like my get some more scripts actually written before I start talking about them. But obviously, I have big plans for the rest of the year. In terms of streams, I'm going to be streaming Thousand Year Door, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on my second channel starting in March. Obviously, we'll have First Contact Day coming up, Star Trek Day, my birthday in the middle of that. So I'll have a special game session for that. Um, and in terms of streams, period, though, I am going to start doing more on my second channel. But in terms of main channel Q&As, right? Um, we are now in a new period, a new era of my channel, where I have to be honest. I kind of saw this coming, and was I was worried for a bit, but I think that we have reached the end of the fundraising streams, and I always felt weird about them a little bit because even bigger YouTubers getting on stream and asking for donations, even though it is for like this is going towards the editing or the filming of a video that you were going to see, right? Like it still felt a little beggy, but at the same time, not, there's justifications for it because I do think that a call to action for donating super chats and whatnot on these streams has been helpful to encourage people to do that, and it's part of my livelihood. It just is. But where the economy is kind of rough right now. So, we're not meeting our goals, and I just think that I'm going to take my main channel streams in a different direction. So that is to say, I'm not going to be doing them as much, but I will be doing quite a bit of gaming this year, sporadically on Orange River Plus. I refuse to have a set schedule for that channel. If you want to keep up with it, I would just encourage you to check out the Discord, and the community tab and stuff like that. I try to post like stuff a few days in advance at least, or at least a day in advance of when it's happening. Just be aware of that. And go subscribe to my second channel if you haven't already. I'll put the link in the description. Um, but yeah, that's essentially what my plan is going forward. In terms of videos, um going more broadly, so one of my goals, of course, is to hit 100K subs this year. I'm so close. I'm very close to 90K, which is encouraging, but it's just out of reach. Like, both of those are just out of reach, but I need that silver play button, and more importantly than the silver play button, which I will brag about until the end of time, I need verification on YouTube, the verification badge. YouTube is pretty much the only social media site that I care about verification on because it actually matters. Because I have had like imposters, right? And we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to know that I am the real Orange River. But I really want to get to 100K this year, and I'm gonna try to actually like I have a plan, an uploading plan, a scheme, if you will, to actually try to like juice my growth a little bit. If business as usual fails, I am I really want to get to 100K before the end of the year. I do think it's achievable. I do think it is actually achievable, even with the shit growth that we've had, under the new algorithm ever since Neil Mohan took over as CEO and started pushing shorts more in the algorithm to compete with TikTok. They existed under Susan, of course, but under Neil, it's been tougher to grow on YouTube. Tougher to meet the same kind of growth that I had in like 2021 and 2022, right? So, and even early 2023. Now, part of that was because, I think people were at home during the pandemic, and also like there were these huge like seasons, not in terms of length, but like huge in terms of cultural impact, right? Picard season 3 came out a couple of years ago, and that was huge, right? For my channel and for a lot of other Trek channels. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Shit stuff. But beyond the medium term, obviously I want to finish up the retrospectives, and pardon me, I'm looking over at my notes over here. That's why my eyes keep shifting. But I want to finish the retrospectives. I've got a few more series left, and then obviously, like eventually there will be, because Strange New Worlds keeps getting renewed, so I'll get to that eventually, and I'll get to like Starfleet Academy and stuff like that. But I want to cover um, Picard, and I do have a plan for Voyager. Uh, I won't reveal what it is just yet. I'm going to do something a little different with it, but yeah. uh, I'm feeling a little boxed in, if I can be honest. I'm feeling a little boxed in by the retrospectives because they are starting to become one of the only types of Star Trek video that my audience clicks on anymore. And I don't I feel conflicted about them because I've gained a lot of views and subs with them over time cumulatively, but they have also they're more opinion based content than I was doing in like 2021 and 2022 when that was like the height of alien biology and future tech, right? Those series on my channel. And those have waned in popularity, and now the retrospectives, because they're more engagement baity by their very nature, you know, and it's led to a lot more like arguments in my comment sections. Um, and it's both the best and the worst thing that's happened to my channel is what I call it, right? So I'm looking forward to moving beyond that, but um, you might ask, well, are you going to go back to alien biology and future tech? And my answer is, unfortunately, those videos just straight up are not performing as well as they used to. I do have like ideas about like Star Trek videos that I can make after the retrospectives are done. Um, but I also am feeling a little boxed in by Trek. This is something I've been trying to have a plan in place for years, which is why you know I've tried to plant the seeds of other one-offs and other series like Mass Effect and Metroid with mixed success, right? And I've had some blow ups like Blade Runner and The Expanse and Avatar, just random one-offs. Obviously, the John Titor video is doing better than it's doing pretty well for a one-off on my channel. It's doing better than I expected, which I'm happy about, and that actually is encouraging. But eventually, if you can track with where I'm going with this, eventually I want every video on my channel to be a one off. I want to explore more diverse topics, not even just sci-fi analysis, like people. And again, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying I'll never cover it or whatever, but like you know people will say, why don't you make a video about the Orville? Why don't you make a video about this thing or that thing or whatever? And it's like, Predator, right? And it's like, I'm not, you know, in theory, I'm not opposed to this stuff, but I want to even grow beyond that, right? And so this year, I think you're going to see some videos that are more tailored to the real world. Obviously, Teched Out was kind of like a was part of that series, but I my plan is I would like to do more videos that are about real life, like historical events. I don't want to I don't want to give this topic away too much, because obviously other people have covered this, but like, what if I wanted to make a video about Japan's lost decades? Like just that's just an example. Like a lot of people don't even know what that is, right? But it's something that interests me, right? And I do think that getting to 100K is going to be a step towards me being more confident that I can actually just release videos about random topics. But I do think I need to have more subs before they are as lucrative as I am going to need them to be. So Star Trek's not going anywhere anytime soon. I want to make that clear. Star Trek, I think, will always be in some way, shape, or form part of the backbone of my channel and sci-fi analysis. Obviously, there's other stuff I could cover, like Fallout, Three Body Problem. These are, again, I'm not putting a timetable on any of this, but these are things that I am interested in maybe talking about one day, right? Um, but eventually, I just want to be the kind of YouTuber who can upload a video on any random topic and it gets like a baseline of like 100,000 views. I don't know that that's ever going to happen. Maybe, maybe 50K one day per video, right? Minimum. But I think I would need to have several times my channel size to even get there. So I don't know. You can't plan this stuff, but I want to eventually get there. So I hope that people, you know, and I know that you guys support me, who support me financially. A lot of you are here because you actually are interested to hear my perspective on things and not just like a regurgitation of, Trek property number, 724. uh I do fear that there's a large chunk of my audience that is there, not because they actually care about what I have to say about anything, but just because they want to see Trek. And I want to be able to graduate out of that. It's going to be tough. That's the next challenge, I think. Getting after I get to 100K, right? Which is close. I mean, it will happen eventually. It's just a matter of how soon, but that'll be my next hurdle, is like being able to branch out further. And so I hope that you guys understand and respect my feelings on that. But that's what my goal is as a YouTuber. Beyond that, I actually have plans for, well, I don't want to give away too much about this, but I want to do bigger productions and scope, right? I want to make more like feature length videos, right? And I think I'll hold off a little bit on giving more details about what some of my plans are for that. It may or may not, and this may be the first time that Sean and CJ are hearing about this. It may involve, I may be getting them involved in that after endurance is over, right? So keep an eye out for that. I'm just, what I want to say is that I'm just really excited about what my content is going to be, this year and beyond, right? Like at least my goals and aspirations, right? So I hope you guys are looking forward to that too. I will have another vlog next month, obviously, as I usually do. I'm thinking about I've already talked about this on stream, but Kinsey and I are going to be making a video for his channel, of course, about he's going to be doing a Star Trek games style video about Japanese Gundam games, many of which are kind of critically panned in that world too, just like a lot of Star Trek games are critically panned. So that's going to be interesting to see what the reception is on that, since it's not on my channel and it's on his channel. But I might record a vlog during that. We're going to be streaming part of it. Again, that's the plan anyway. So that's like a month from now. It's like going to be late February. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll send out notifications on my community tab and Discord and social media and all that. So anyway, that's all I wanted to get off my chest. But that's and I guess one more thing I forgot to touch on this. There are some Star Trek topics that I want to talk about, but I'm afraid that they're going to get demonetized, like more relating to the real world, like Bell Riots was. I want to do, I would like to maybe do more videos that are, related to something like World War III again, right? But even that video, you know, got demonetized, not fully, but got hit with limited ads, and it's like, well, I'm being discouraged from doing that, so I guess I'm going to try other stuff. So that's another reason that, unfortunately, it's not just that I'm getting tired of Trek or anything. It's that the kind of Trek videos that I want to make, YouTube's not going to let me. So maybe one day I can get to the point where I can do like actually justify some like Patreon and or member exclusive videos, but that's that's a while away before I think I'm at the size where I think that's like feasible. I gotta make money. Gotta make money. So I appreciate all the support that you people, not derogatory, that you people give to me on this channel, because it really does help, and it really does mean something to me, and I hope that I do enough like behind the scenes stuff for you guys to keep you entertained. And I've been told that I generally do. I mean, where else are you going to see a behind the scenes of Erica, for the endurance announcement? But anyway, I got to get back to writing section 31. So I'll see you in the next something or other. So thanks for watching. Live long and prosper.